Okay, so today we are going to start off with ledger concept. Okay, ledger concept in S4 HANA is one of the important topic in terms of interview. So in interview, definitely you will get a question with regards to ledger concept. Either you will be getting a question like what is ledger concept in S4 HANA, or you will be getting what is parallel accounting, or they might also ask you like, can you take me through new GL features in SAP. Okay, so in that parallel accounting is one of the new GL features. The other new GL feature is document splitting. We'll come to document splitting and at a later part of the class. But now you understand what is a ledger or parallel accounting. Okay, so either you might get a question as what is ledger concept in S4 HANA or what is parallel accounting. Okay, so if you get a question, you have to first explain why ledger concept was introduced and what are the types of ledger we have and what is the advantage of using the ledger. All these things you have to explain them. Okay, you have to make sure that you are writing down the flow and you have to explain the same in the interview. However, I'll give you the contact. I'll give you the details of how to answer in interview. By this weekend, I'll be sending you a document regarding the ledger. So you can refer that and you can answer in interview. Now let us go to the concept of ledger. So what is a ledger? See, do not get confused with the general ledger and a ledger. Okay, ledger is a vast concept where all the financial postings will come. General ledger is part of the ledger. So like general ledger, there are different account types. So we have material account type, customer account type, vendor account type, asset account type. There are different account types, out of which this ledger, right? So ledger will contain all these account types. All these account types are going to flow to the ledger only. Okay. So any postings that you do for all these account types will be part of the ledger. Okay. In SAP, we have two main ledgers, that is leading ledger and non-leading ledger. So what is a leading ledger and a non-leading ledger? Leading ledger is denoted by 0L in SAP. So this is 0L. Okay. So leading ledger is denoted by 0L in SAP. Okay. So what is the difference between a leading ledger and a non-leading ledger is what we are going to understand now. See, any financial postings that you do will always be part of this 0L, that is nothing but leading ledger. But non-leading ledgers are used only for reporting purpose. I'll tell you the background why there was a need for this ledger concept. See, earlier, whenever there was financial reportings that you had to prepare for multiple countries, we had to manually prepare that. Now let us say, so in US we follow the accounting principle US GAAP, and in India we follow Indian accounting standard, and all the companies should follow IFRS standard also, right? Likewise, the companies which are dealing with multiple countries has to follow multiple accounting principles. When they are following multiple accounting principles, they have to prepare the report as per the country's requirement, right? So to comply with this, SAP has introduced this concept called as parallel accounting or a ledger concept. Okay. As I told you, under this ledger concept, we have two main ledgers. One is leading ledger and non-leading ledger. So all the financial postings will go to this 0L. Leading ledger is denoted by 0L. Okay. And then we have non-leading ledger. I'll tell you why we have non-leading ledger. As I told you, let us say if you have to prepare financial statements for multiple countries, right? So that is when the concept of non-leading ledger will come in place. Now, let us say in 0L, that is leading ledger. you are going to assign Indian accounting standard. Parallelly, you have to prepare the reports as per US GAAP, as per IFRS, which is not possible with this 0L ledger alone because we have only assigned Indian accounting standard here. But since we require multiple other reports for different countries, right? That is why we can assign multiple accounting principles. Okay, for non-leading ledger, we can assign multiple accounting principles. Also, we can create multiple non-leading ledger. Leading ledger can only be one, that is 0L, that is SAP standard. So we cannot create multiple leading ledgers. But however, for non-leading ledger, we can create multiple ledgers like 2L, EX, CO, whatever ledger names you want, you can update and you can create multiple non-leading ledger. The reason why we create multiple non-leading ledger is because if you create multiple non-leading ledger, then you can assign the multiple accounting principles, right? So that's how it is. So apart from this, there is something called as extension ledger also. So that has been introduced in S4 HANA. So that is a new concept. Earlier, we had only leading and non-leading ledger. The extension ledgers are introduced in S4 HANA. I'll now explain you what is extension ledger. So now, let us say you have created 2L as a non-leading ledger. Okay. So this 2L is a non-leading ledger and the accounting principle you have assigned is US GAAP. Okay. So here for non-leading ledger 2L, you have assigned US GAAP as the accounting principle. But in this, let us say if you want to prepare multiple reports for tax reporting purpose, for statutory reports, for various other reasons, you require multiple reports to be prepared. So to prepare this, you can go with a concept called as extension ledger. For 2L, we'll create an extension ledger as 3L and 4L. Okay, so how much ever extension ledgers you want, you can create it. But the accounting principle will remain the same. For the same accounting principle, we are having this extension ledgers. Okay, this concept you have to remember. See, for non-leading ledger, US GAAP, okay, we have extension ledgers here for different activities. If you want multiple reports to be pulled for the same accounting principle, so that is when we go with extension ledgers in SAP. Okay. So this is how it works. So if in interview, if they ask you a question on, can you take me through parallel accounting or a ledger concept in SAP, you have to tell them, see, the ledger concept was introduced to comply with the statutory requirement, that is various countries follows different accounting principles to update all this to comply with all these accounting principles together. It is a tedious task. So to do this, we have a concept called as parallel accounting, where we have leading ledgers and non-leading ledgers. In case of leading ledger, it is denoted by 0L. So all the financial postings are going to be part of leading ledger. And when it comes to non-leading ledger, we can create multiple ledgers. Like for example, if you want accounting principle, US GAAP, IFRS, and many other accounting principles, if you want, we can create this non-leading ledgers so that all the statutory requirements can be done at a single go. Okay. And in interview, if they ask you a question like, how does the non-leading ledger derives the transactions? Okay. As I told you earlier itself, all the transactions will post only in 0L. But how does the non-leading ledger get the data or a transaction? So that is through underlying ledger. There is a concept called as underlying ledger. I'll practically show you that how underlying ledger looks like and what we assign there. So if underlying ledger contains 0L, right? So that is when the data flows to non-leading ledger. Now, let us take for example, if 2L is your non-leading ledger and the data has to flow for this extension ledger 3L and 4L, then what we'll do? We'll consider 2L as an underlying ledger. For 3L and 4L, we'll assign 2L as a underlying ledger. So whatever comes to 2L automatically goes to 3L and 4L. So that is how underlying ledger concept will work. Okay, so these are some of the details that you have to explain in interview. Basically, you have to explain what was the problem earlier before introducing parallel accounting. With the help of parallel accounting, what is the advantage we have? So you have to explain in interview so that interviewer will be convinced. So apart from this ledgers, we have some more concepts called as predictive accounting. And always remember, see, non-leading ledger can be many, but leading ledger can be only one. We cannot have many leading ledgers. Okay, leading ledger is 0L. We can have only one leading ledger. Okay, so we'll go to this predictive accounting. What is a SAP predictive accounting? Has anyone come across a concept called as machine learning? Anyone is aware of it? Anyone is aware of machine learning? Have you come across this term, machine learning?
Yes, school days back. Back
Okay.
in school days, we had the machine learning.
Okay. So anyone has a rough idea on what is machine learning? So some of you might have come across these terms called as robotics. Okay. So have you come across robotics or a machine learning? See, everyone will be aware of AI. AI, so everyone will be knowing, but what about machine learning? How different is machine learning from AI? At least, can anyone tell me what is AI at least? Artificial intelligence. Anyone wants to try? What do you understand by AI or a machine learning? See, day in and day out, we are using AI, right, these days. So, what is AI basically? What does it do?
That enables computer learn from the data.
Come again?
That enables computer to learn the data from.
Correct, learning, right? So, what else?
It's a problem solving and reasoning, perception, and also as a language understanding.
Okay. So I'll tell you what is the machine learning and what is AI. Okay. So if you come across machine learning is like we are going to train the system on how to interpret the data. Okay. If I have to give you an example, like say for example, in your organization, there is an automation tool. So that is performing all the manual activity. Okay. So decision making comparatively less in machine learning than when you come to AI. So AI is very good in decision making. So that is why it is better than your machine learning. In AI, it will do the problem solving as well and it does the decision making also. Okay, but in case of machine learning, we are going to train the machine, right? We are going to train it. But in case of AI, it will have a capacity of learning on its own and it is going to interpret the data as per its decision. Okay, it has the power of decision making. So in similar lines, in SAP, we have machine learning that has been implemented, that is called as SAP predictive accounting. So what is a SAP predictive accounting? So in real time, let us say what is the profitability of the organization in future, what is the budget that is required in future, what is the expense that is going to occur in future. Based on the inflation, this predictive accounting is going to predict that. Okay, so it is going to learn the trends and it is going to predict the future on how the business will be. That is called as predictive accounting. Basically, it is an analytical tool for business to understand the position in the market. Okay, so that is nothing but your SAP predictive accounting. Apart from SAP predictive accounting, there is something called as simulation ledger. Generally, simulation is nothing but a test mode. So why we use simulation ledger, I'll tell you. See, earlier I told you, whenever there is any changes that we are going to make in SAP, we are going to do it from right from development system, and then we'll move it to quality. That is where we are going to perform the testing. But in production environment, we have very less scope to do the testing because that is a live environment, right? So some of the functionalities, let us say if you want to test on production environment itself. See, you get a new file format from the bank and before loading that, you want to test it in the production system itself and then you have to load the file. In such scenarios, we'll go with simulation ledger, where simulation ledger helps us to do a test run in production server only. Within production server, we can do a test mode so that we can come to a conclusion that whether this approach is correct or not. Okay, whether we can implement this approach or not on production environment, will come to a conclusion. Okay, some of the objects that you have to test in a production environment, for those will go with simulation ledger. Okay, so this is again some of the extension ledgers that we have. One is predictive accounting and simulation ledgers. Okay.
Gandharva, sorry
Yes.
to stop you.
Yeah.
Do you have any example on that?
See, here only I have given you an example. If you see here, you have a foreign currency revaluation. Okay, so
Okay.
foreign currency revaluation, if they want to run on production environment, before to that they want to do a test, because foreign currency revaluation comes only once in a month, right?
Correct.
So
Yeah, monthly ones.
so before running that, they want to do a test run. Okay, after that, if everything is correct, that is when they want to go for an actual run. So that is why this kind of simulation ledgers comes in place.
Okay.
So just that you are testing the functionality which you have not used for quite a time. Okay, so those we can do a test run in simulation mode and then we can do the actual activity. Okay, now let us go to the ledger T code, that is FINSC underscore ledger. So this is very important T code that you have to remember. This is the T code FINSC underscore ledger. So this T code you have to remember. In interview, if they ask you how do you make the changes on ledger, so this is how you will make it. FINSC underscore ledger. This is the T code for all your ledger configurations. So let us get into the ledger and understand what are the currencies that we have in S4HANA. See, ledger concept is very easy. Okay, it's very easy to explain as well. Just that you need to understand what is leading ledger, non-leading ledger, and extension ledger. So if you don't understand this, you will find it very difficult to answer in interview. Okay, So you make your own notes why it was introduced and what is the advantage of this ledger concept, so that you can address any question that you will get in interview. So now we'll go with the T code FINSC_ledger. So that is the T code for ledger concept. So any configurations that you have to do, here only we'll do it. Okay, first we'll have currency types. Okay, let us understand what are these currency types and how it is different from ECC version of SAP. Earlier in ECC version of SAP, we had only 3 currencies. One is document currency, company code currency, group currency. But now with the introduction of S4HANA, we have around 10 currencies, out of which 8 currencies are listed here. Okay. Apart from that, 2 are customized currencies. So company can create their own currencies. If you see, like my students have created multiple currencies here, same way companies can create customized currencies in S4HANA. So more than 10 currencies is what you can maintain in S4HANA. Okay. Earlier in ECC version of SAP, we had only 3 currencies. Now we'll go with one by one. What are these currencies all about? See, first is document currency. When it comes to document currency, so this currency is nothing but as soon as you post a document, right? So whatever the currency you give as an input, now I'll give you an example. Let us go to a T code F-02. So within here, while I'm posting a transaction, what I'll do, I'll give the currency as INR. So this is nothing but document currency, where I am manually updating the currency within the transaction. This type of currency, we call it as document currency, where we are updating the currency for the transaction posting. So this type of currency, we call it as document currency. And what about company code currency? The currency that is updated in your company code is called as company code currency. Can anyone tell me what is the currency we have maintained in the company code level? What is the currency we have maintained in company code level while creating?
10.
Huh?
10.
No, not 10.
INR.
10 is the type. But
Okay.
what is the currency?
INR.
INR, right? So INR is the company code currency. Whenever I am using the company code SIB, it will always pick up INR because INR is the company code currency for SIB. Similarly, you can maintain multiple currencies for different company codes. Okay, some company codes which are part of European nations will have euro on them, right? So it all depends on the company code. Company code currency is the currency assigned to your company code. And then you have controlling area currency. This is used for reporting purpose and this is only used in controlling. Okay. The currency which is used in controlling are called as controlling area currency. When you updated in OKKP, right? So that is the currency, controlling area currency it is. And then group currency. What is a group currency? See, let us say, for example, if you consider any company which is India based, if you consider Reliance, right? So they have to report to Indian government, right? So they have to prepare the reports in INR only. So that is when this group currency will come in place. So whenever there is INR, okay, if it is an Indian company, so that is when this group currency will come. Group currency is going to consolidate all the reports across the globe and it will put everything into one currency. All the transaction will flow to this group currency. Each and every transaction that you post will consist of group currency, and that group currency is nothing but the company which has the reporting country, like let's say for example, Reliance has reporting country as India. So any statutory requirements and any tax reportings they have to do to this country only. So that is when the group currency comes in place, where all the consolidation will be done. So all the transactions will be consolidated together in group currency. And then you have hard currency. In yesterday's class itself, I explained you what is hard currency. Hard currency is nothing but, see, countries which has high inflation rates are going to use this hard currency. So hard currency can be your popular currencies like USD, GBP, Euro. So it can be that. Okay, and then you have index-based currency. Index-based currency is like countries which has political instability and there is fluctuations in inflation rates. So those kind of countries, they'll use index-based currency, and also this currency is used for tax reporting purpose for those countries. And then you have global company currency. Global company currency is the currency that has been assigned to your company. So OX15 initially, the first configuration that we did, right, company. So whatever the currency you have assigned there, that is global company currency. And next is controlling object currency. So as the word itself says, it is related to controlling objects. So what are controlling objects? Your profit center, cost center, internal order, WBS elements are your controlling objects. So we can use a separate currency for these activities, and that is called as controlling object currency. Usually any transaction will have these three currencies: document, and then company code, group currency. Okay. So these three currencies will be standard for any transaction. But apart from this, all these currencies, whichever you are seeing, are for reporting purposes only. Okay. So for financial transactions, we use these three currencies only. But other currencies, whatever you are seeing, it is for reporting standards. And also company can also create their own customized currency type, and it all depends on the client. Okay, if the client asks you to do, you have to. You have to create a new currency. Okay, so go with till 70. Okay, even this 41 is an invalid currency. It has been created by someone. And apart from this, Y1, Z1, Z2, all these are invalid currencies because it has been created by some of my students. Okay, so do not create anything here because that will confuse others. Okay, so only these 8 currencies up to 70, whatever you are seeing, are the valid ones. Those are provided by SAP. Apart from that, whatever you are seeing are created by my students, and those are not valid. Okay. And now we'll go with global currency conversions. See, global currency conversion.
Gandhar,
Yes,
sorry
yes.
to interrupt you. Yeah. So when we come to know that those are invalid currencies, right? Do we have option to delete those
Yes,
in
we
order
have
to?
option to delete, but what happens with SAP is that if you use that currency and if you post a transaction, so it will not allow us to delete it.
Okay.
If it is there here, nothing will happen. Okay. So if it is there here, nothing will happen because we will not assign that to transaction. But if you want to delete that, see, you have an option here to delete that. If you try to delete that, SAP will throw an error because already they would have done some postings. So you can't delete that. And moreover, some of them would have used those currencies also. Till now, they might be using it. So we'll not touch that. For us, these 8 currencies are valid. We'll go with only those currencies. But yes, we
And
have an option to delete.
yes, I got you, but I have a confused. See, when you say it is a invalid currency,
See,
and
this
you
is
are not
the
no,
trial
no,
software, na?
yeah, I got you. But my question is,
Hmm.
so even though it is an incorrect currency, then how did they proceed further by posting the
No,
thing?
whatever you want, as I told you, you can create your own custom currencies, right? So you can create it. Whatever you want, you can create it. But these are not valid currencies. So they have created their own currency. See, if you see here, Z4, they have only did it for USD. So
Okay.
it will not serve any purpose. Okay, just invalid currency they have created here.
Okay. Yeah. Got it.
Okay, but you can't delete that also because they would have posted a transaction using this currency. In
Yes,
real
got it.
time,
Yes.
these unwanted currencies will not come. So you will only see those unwanted currencies, unwanted ledgers in the server only, because this will be accessed by many people. So they'll have their own creative minds. They'll do that. Okay.
So yeah, what I understood is, so we
Ah,
can create anything, but as per the SAP standards, those are the real.
correct. Correct.
Yeah.
In SAP, as per the standard, only 8 currency types are will be there, no? Gandharva? Hello?
Yes, we can hear you. You can tell me.
Gandharva? Can you hear me, Gandharva?
Wahab, we can hear you, but I think
Yeah,
Gandharv is
no,
not.
I got a call in between.
Okay. Oh, Gandharva, I have a question here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, as per the standard SAP S/4HANA, there are total 8 types of
10.
currency type.
So
And
more than 10 you can maintain. Okay. So SAP has given 8, but more than 10 you can maintain.
okay.
Organization will also have some custom currencies. So if the client asks you, we can make that.
Okay. The custom currency only we can use for the reporting purpose, or else we can also use as a document currency.
See, custom currency, their own reporting purpose, they'll do it. See, document currency, these are standards. You can't change anything. Document currency, company code currency, group currency are very much standards in each transactions. This will be there. Okay. So anything apart from this, whatever you are seeing here, eight currencies. Okay. Each has a different purpose. Anything apart from this, if they want a different report, that is when they will go for custom currency.
Mhm. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll continue. So global currency conversion settings. So here, basically we are assigning the exchange rate type for currency type. Okay. So you will understand more about this exchange rate type when we come to exchange rate topic. For now, just understand we have to link this currency types with exchange rate type. That is the activity we are doing here, as well as here also. Here we use normal currencies. Okay, here we use only global currencies. That's the only difference. Okay, so this we can do the configurations also. So I'll just show you. Okay, for now in today's class I'll not do any configuration, but in next class I'll do this configuration and I'll show you. So here we can use some of the currencies and we can add the exchange rate type. This exchange rate type I am going to explain you when we come to the exchange rate topic. So I'll show you how the exchange rates are converted and how the system is going to pick up the exchange rate. So for now, you just understand For currencies, we are going to assign the exchange rate type. That's all. The main thing you have to focus is here, the ledger. Okay. So in ledger, as I told you, the leading ledger is 0L. The same thing has been updated, and do not select this leading option for any of the other ledgers because that is incorrect. None of the other ledgers can be leading ledger. Only this can be the leading ledger. Okay. So and then you have the other ledgers like 2L, C1, C2. These are non-leading ledgers. So I was telling you about underlying ledger, right? Now if you take this 2L, see I was assigned 0L here. So that means this 2L is going to fetch the data from 0L. From 0L, it is going to directly flow to this 2L. Whenever you are posting a transaction, as I told you, obviously it will post in leading ledger, that is 0L. For non-leading ledger, to get the data, you have to link 0L in underlying ledger. If you are assigning it in underlying ledger, so that is when the data comes to the non-leading ledger. So that's how it is. Okay. And also, as you know, for each and every country, right, we'll have different accounting principles and different fiscal years. So this is where we do that settings. I'll just show you. So if you see here, so you have a fiscal year variant. So for each and every ledger, so this is 0L, and for 0L I have assigned A1. A1 is for our Indian financial year, that is April to March. So it can be other fiscal year variant also based on the country which we are reporting to. Let us say if you are following US GAAP, we can go with the other fiscal year variants. Okay, so that is where this is where we are going to do such settings. Okay, and also you can see here we have an option to assign the accounting principle also. Here we have assigned the accounting principle. So that's how we'll do it. Okay, so this is the background of the ledger. The main part of the ledger is that you have to understand what is the background of ledger, what is leading ledger, what is non-leading ledger, what is extension ledger, what is predictive ledger, what is underlying ledger, and what is simulation ledger. Okay, so these things you have to understand how it works. If you have any questions with regards to today's class,